Hello and welcome to Fastest Lap Gaming for episode 2 of my F1 22 career mode. I'm hoping for a much better race than we had last time in Bahrain. We're in Saudi Arabia this week, which is a much better circuit for me. But before we get into the action, I'm going to try and do some upgrades because right now we are only 6th in the development chart. And we need a faster car if we're going to get some podiums and win races. I'm going to develop the improved energy storage cells, also get some wing upgrades I think. And I think as well I will also have a look at getting powertrain upgrades because we are quite slow in a straight line. We've got a Pirelli hot lap to do, but I think I will probably skip that one. I don't like the supercars. I should have disabled them in the settings before I started the career, but I'll just skip it.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen. We've got an issue we'd like your input on.
We've got an issue in the aerodynamics department. R&D believe they're on the verge of a major breakthrough and require your time in the simulator immediately. It would mean missing an important meeting. It doesn't seem to have any benefits or issues, whatever we choose.
I appreciate you taking the time to help out.
I'm gonna skip the Pirelli hot lap I think and get straight into practice and qualifying the race. I won't put practice in the video unless anything exciting happens because it's boring, you won't want to watch it. Energy store cells are failed. And the weather forecast is saying rain for the race, which is very unusual for Saudi Arabia. I don't think I've ever driven this circuit in the rain because it's very rare for it to rain in Saudi Arabia. So we've completed all 3 practice sessions. Gonna go into qualifying now. I'm hoping we can do a lot better than the qualifying that we did in Bahrain. We're a P20 on the grid there. We just couldn't get a good lap. Here we are at Jeddah Street Circuit then for qualifying. My target for this qualifying session is to get in the top 10 and hopefully we can also beat our teammates, if not at least be close to him because he is very fast. He got 3rd last race in the McLaren, which shouldn't be possible. I'll take the setup, the softest tyres, and I'm just going to check I put the right setup on the car because I have driven out of the garage with the wrong setup before. Anyway, let's go out onto the circuit. The first lap probably won't be the fastest, so I will have to go again later in the session. But it's good to get a time on the board in case anything happens later on. I wouldn't expect it to rain in the session, but we have got rain forecast for the race, so strange things can happen with the weather. Here we are then, about to start our first lap of qualifying. I'm hoping it can be a good one, hoping for no crashes. Going into the final corner then, it's really important we get a good exit to start the lap well. It feels quite good through there, we're right up against the wall but we don't touch it. And we're heading down the straight now to start the lap. And into turn 1 we go. We're going to make it quite a tight exit on the second, but I think we're through there with some good speed. Now turn 3 is always quite difficult, but I do manage to keep it on the circuit. Don't go wide over there. I think I've lost a little bit of time through this section. Yes, I needed quite a big lift there, so that will slow us down. and we've accidentally gone a bit deep, which is going to cost us lap time. Hopefully it won't make too much of a difference, as it was only a small deviation off the circuit. And we're going to brake for the final corner, and we need to make it good so we can get a decent lap time. I don't think it's going to be the best, but hopefully it will be good enough to put us in the top 10 in case we have to go again later in the session. And we've set the fastest lap of anyone out on circuit, but that's not much of an achievement. There's only 2 other drivers set a lap time so far. They're both in inferior cars, and Lewis Hamilton takes that away from us anyway. We did get front wing damage then, after a little tap with the wall, which might have also hindered the final part of our lap.
We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car.
I'm having to wait a bit to repair it, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't be going out until the end of the session anyway, so I'll just fast forward the time until we're ready to go out on track. Now I think it's about time for us to go out onto the circuit though.
Okay, engines fired up, we're set.
We're probably only going to have time here for 1 lap, so we need to make it a good one. The first lap we did has put us 12, so it might not be a disaster if we didn't set a faster time in this run, but I do want to get higher up than 12, and also starting the lap now then. We're a bit down, we didn't get a great exit from the final corner. Hopefully we can make that up into turn 1, it feels very good through there. We are improving on our previous lap time already. And we're still improving, we're 4 tenths improved now. And heading on to the back straight, and we're almost 7 tenths faster than our first lap time, so I'm really hoping this can be good here. It might just be enough to qualify ahead of our teammate who's doing his lap right behind us. Not too bad through the final corner, we just need a good run to the finish line now. The delta's pretty stable. And what's that going to be? P9. I'm happy with that, that puts us in the points. Our teammate is probably ahead of us, but not by too many places I'd assume.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3.
Norris is P7, only 2 places ahead of us, 1 driver between us.
Qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
It should definitely be possible to beat Lando tomorrow if we have a good race. So let's head to the race now and see what we can do.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hejaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar, Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So with Jeddah already being one of the newest circuits in Formula One, it seems that the drivers will now also have to figure out how to tackle it in these unusually wet conditions. Like many other street circuits, this is also a very technical drive. Some of these corners are challenging enough in the dry, it'll be interesting to see how the drivers fare in this weather. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Russell, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Sainz. Norris, Fernando Alonso, the captain, and Valtteri Bottas, Joe, Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, and Gasly, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel, and Alex Albon, Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are three big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature, and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
And it is raining in Saudi Arabia.
I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I saw it in the weather forecast. I thought maybe it could be incorrect. Because of the country we're in, I would not expect any rain here. It's not too heavy. It looks like we will be on intermediate tyres. The strategy is suggesting a pit stop around lap 12. Oh, and I've released the clutch way too early. Thankfully it's just a formation lap, so it doesn't matter, but we have to stop so we don't go into the car ahead of us, which is our teammate. That could have been an issue, but we get stopped in time. I released the clutch way too early there. Our strategy is suggesting pitting on lap 12 for new inters if it doesn't get dry, but the weather forecast looks like it might get dry partway through the race, so I'm going to stay on these inters until it gets dry, and I can probably make them last all race if it doesn't get dry. That could give us an advantage if any of our opponents pit for new inters before it gets dry. So we're going to line up on the grid now. I do need good parking because I'm not great at starts as it is, especially in the wet. I'm going to struggle here. I don't want to lose any positions. So let's maximise our possibility by getting a good start.
Incredible
and it is
parking there, nice one. That's
good
going to give you the edge
parking.
if you can get good launch as the race starts.
And the lights are going on now. We've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the lights are out and we're underway, and it's not a bad reaction time, but we are slow getting on the power. And it looks like one of the Alfa Romeos might be getting past us. 2 Alfa Romeos are past us. We're in between them. Hopefully we can hang on into turn 1. We have a little touch of wheels with Valtteri Bottas, but I think we are ahead. We're ahead of him into turn 1. After turn 2, we've regained position. But now Guan Yu Zhou is going to try and come around the outside. We managed to hold it on, but we've gone deep. We keep the position, but we're losing time, and we've had a big slide, and he's going to get back down the inside. That's not good. There's no grip on this circuit. I've never driven it in the wet before. I don't know where to brake. And we cut the corner on the inside there slightly, but we're going so slow it doesn't even make a difference, and we don't get a warning or a penalty for it. This is crazy. I've never driven this circuit in the wet before. I've got no idea where to brake. I've got no idea how quickly I can get on the power. The walls are so close, I don't want to crash. But I've got no pace. The cars ahead are just pulling away already, and I'm in P10, holding on to one last point, but now it looks like Esteban Ocon might have a go at us. I think we've just about managed to block him off. It's a long straight now. We didn't get a great exit out of there, so we might be vulnerable coming onto the back straight. Ocon doesn't look to be coming too close to us. I think we're going to be safe for the final corner. Hopefully we can get through it okay and be okay down into turn 1. Charles Leclerc's the fastest lap. He's leading the race. And Ocon and Magnussen are battling behind us, which should give us a bit of breathing room, hopefully. And I almost went too wide into turn 1, and on the exit of turn 2 I almost spun the car. And Kevin Magnussen then tried to get around the outside of us. We managed to hold him off. We did go off the circuit slightly. I'm really struggling just to keep the car on the track at the moment. Coming on to lap 3 now, we've gone deep at the final corner. That's not great. We do get through without hitting the wall, but we're going to be slow onto the straight now. And are we going to get attacked from behind by Ocon? Now Magnussen's ahead of Ocon. What are they going to do? It looks like they are going to be too far back to make a move. And we are safe into turn 1 once again. But I feel like I'm slower than them. They're going to want to overtake me as soon as they can. They've got more pace. The cars ahead are already pulling away. And I need to find more grip. I've gone wide. I felt like I was starting to find a bit more pace, but it doesn't feel like it now. There's just no traction on the exit of corners. The car feels like it's going to spin every time I come through a corner. We are pulling a bit of a gap now to the cars behind.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there, we're attempting to manage it.
And that does not sound good. Our engineer telling us we might have an issue. I really hope this doesn't end our race. The engine could be about to blow up. And I don't want to retire on lap 3. That'll be a very short video if we did that. So I'm praying that it's nothing wrong.
Seems to be an issue with our ERS.
The ERS is broken, we can't activate it. So I'm relieved that it's nothing serious that will put us out the race, but we are going to really struggle to defend from the cars behind without ERS on the straight. We're going to be so much slower than them. We can't activate the ERS. We're through the final corner now. Ocon is right behind us and we can't use any energy to get past. He's alongside us already before we even start lap 4 and he's ahead of us. Coming down into turn 1, we're not too far behind. Can we get down the inside? We just about make it. We go deep but we keep it on the track and we're through. Is he going to try and come back at us? No, he isn't. We're ahead.
Touch wood, it seems like the fault has resolved itself.
And we do have the ERS. The ERS is working this time around, so it should be easier to defend. But once again, Ocon's very close, and he did get a better exit than us, so he's going to challenge us down towards turn 1. But I think I'm going to stay ahead this time. He has to be inside though, so he might be able to overtake us. But we keep it going around the outside, and we lock up slightly. We go very deep, but we stay on the track once again, and we're still ahead of Esteban Ocon. He's going to try around the outside though. He almost touches us. I think there was a slight bit of contact there, but we are through safely. And Ocon and Magnussen are both very close to me now. I got a decent exit there, which might give us some space. We almost go off the circuit, but we keep it on the racing line. They are very close behind us though, the Alpine and the Haas. They might try and move onto this, out of these 2 corners and onto the straight. I really hope we can keep them behind. We're in the final points position. I do want to score at least 1 point from this race. Lap 9 now. And there's a yellow flag in sector 1, there's a yellow flag at the first 2 corners. And it looks like on the map there's a Ferrari going slowly. Could that be a safety car? Because that would really help our race. Both passes now are coming at us. They're going to try and get past. If we can get a safety car, that could put us right back in the fight for further points.
Okay,
and it's Carlos Sainz, he's out of the race.
Okay, they're out of this race. Okay, the officials have deployed the safety car due to multiple cars being stopped on track. Mind your delta.
And we do have a safety car. This is going to really benefit us. We will be right behind the cars ahead. That gap will close up.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
The safety car's coming in. The track is feeling a lot more dry, and I am going to come into the pits and put some medium tyres on. No more intermediates. We're going to be on slick tyres. And I hope this pays off. If it does, we might be able to come out ahead of some of the cars in front. We might be able to come out ahead of our teammate. But we mess up with the clutch and that's cost us a few tenths of a second. I was hoping we might be able to jump Fernando Alonso, but we couldn't.
Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres.
I stalled the car in the pits. I I had to get back on the clutch. We didn't lose any positions.
Lando in the pits.
And our teammate has pitted. I think he's going to come out ahead of us. We've had a difficult lap getting the tyres warm. We haven't had much pace out of it this lap. They've been cold for most of it, especially with the circuit so damp. It's difficult to get the temperature into them. But let's see where our teammate comes out compared to us. Hopefully he isn't too far. And we can try and catch him later on into the race. And he's coming out of the pits now. We might just get a chance to overtake him, though he is going to be ahead. With a few cars between us. Looks like he might be in 7th position there. We've got 3 cars between us, maybe 4 cars. And Schumacher there is looking very slow on those cold tyres. I'm hoping now to get past him while they're still cold. It might be an easy overtake. But he's making it difficult for us. He's blocking us. He's getting in the way. He's very slow on those cold tyres. We're going to have a look down the inside, but it's just too far back. He would have turned in on us and we would have both crashed out of the race if I had gone for that. Don't have enough pace to get around the outside on the exit, and he is starting to speed up now. He must have a bit of warmth getting back into his tyres, which is going to make it harder for us to pass him. And Sebastian Vettel's going to have a go. He's right behind us. He could get past. We need to speed through this set of corners to protect ourselves from an overtake from Sebastian Vettel. Schumacher still ahead of us. Vettel is still behind us, but we are pulling away from him, and we are getting closer to Schumacher at the same time. It's one thing to catch up to him, another thing to get past. The AI defend very aggressively in this game. We're getting a bit closer. We're not going to be close enough to make a move. Are we going to try and go around the outside? We're too far back, but DRS has been enabled, which should make it easier for us to get past Schumacher. He's way too far back from the AlphaTauri ahead of him to get any DRS. It shouldn't be too hard to overtake him now as we come on to the final straight at the end of the lap. And we open the DRS. This is going to give us a big pace advantage over Schumacher. I think I'm going to be too far back to try and move into the final turn. But on the straight down into turn 1, we might be able to try something. We're right behind him. We're going to get DRS again. We're very close. We should be able to get past here. We're gaining on Schumacher very quickly. We should be ahead before turn 1 even. Which line should we take? We're going to take the inside line. Schumacher takes the outside line. And we're through, but he might try around the outside. We've got too much pace though, and he can't get that past. We're through into 10th for that final point once again, and Schumacher's coming back! Schumacher almost got past us again!
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. We're currently trailing our teammate by 7.4 seconds.
And we've only got 5 laps to go there, still hanging on to P10. The cars ahead once again have pulled away. I just don't think we have the pace for this race to catch up to them. But I am quite confident that we can hang on to this final point as Ocon tries to make a move once again into turn 4. And we've cut the corner slightly. We're so small that we don't get a penalty for it. And we're going to come on to lap 23 now. Ocon isn't too close behind. We should be safely in P10 at least for now.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done.
And Ocon's dropping back. I'm fairly confident that we can keep this P10 and score at least 1 point. I wasn't happy with our performance last time in Bahrain.
Gap to your teammate ahead is 10.2 seconds.
It hasn't been as bad from us this race.
They're currently 6th. Your last lap time was a 1 minute.
Our teammates in 6th, so
34.7.
it's not that far ahead. We're slightly too late. Oh, we've got off the track. We've hit the wall and we're out of the race.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
We were going to score a point, but we are out of the race, and let's have a look what happened here. I think I just turned in slightly too early. We had good speed on the apex and I just over-rotated the car and hit the wall. Came off that and broke the front suspension. Let's have a look in slow motion now. I hooked up this sequence of corners nicely, but I just turned in slightly too early. The line was slightly off, and by the time we've got the car straight, it's too late, and we keep on turning it round. This is devastating. Our teammate will score some points, and once again we will score none. And it's a big impact there for the McLaren. And that is so disappointing. I was confident that we would take that 10th place. And here we are, retiring from the race. With 2 races in a row, and still no points.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So it's Sergio Perez who takes the win in Saudi Arabia, just like he did this season in real life.
Look at how the drivers stand.
Our teammate got 6th. He's going to take more points from us. I think he'll be 14 points ahead of us in the standings now. We have
Let's focus on driver of the day, Anthony Davidson.
None.
Who do you pick?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
I think
Let's move on
also
to the
Sergio Perez will be
Red Bull
leading the
take over as
championship now.
championship leaders. Meanwhile,
Red Bull leading
AlphaTauri's strong
no,
weekend
Charles Leclerc
allows
is
them to
leading the
continue their
championship with a
march up the
6-point
table.
lead, and Sergio Perez, our
Like that,
teammates
who
in
knows
6th.
what the sport has
He
in
has
store
got
for us
14
next time?
points.
Be sure to join us again as we
We
continue
still
to
have
bring you
no
the
points.
latest
Hopefully we can
excitement
close
in
up that
Formula
gap
One.
in the next few races with some good performances. We weren't doing too badly here until we crashed out of the race, but unfortunately that damage was too severe and we were unable to continue with any 3 wheels on the car.